Hey, y'all, welcome. Y'all tuned in to another edition of Harmonic Speak. But we got a new special edition for y'all tonight. We are calling this edition Devon and D Bird Special, aka Do Damage. The name of this show is Do Damage, and we about to give y'all some good perspective tonight. We just talking basketball in general. We all just watched Oklahoma City Thunder, and we got to talk about the problems that's going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Me personally, I just think Kevin Durant gone. That's what it is. Now I'm being petty. Let's talk for real.
Here you go with that mess.
Hey, look, man, I'm just being petty, man. Kevin's my favorite player, and I love the Russ guard. But at the end of the day, I hate the way he plays basketball offensively. I love his tenacity. I love his aggressiveness. But his basketball IQ, when it is not dialed in, he's very difficult to play with. Talk to the people before I go.
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation on tonight. I think it's long overdue when it comes to these debates being scrutinized by the public. So I appreciate the invitation on tonight. I'm gonna get right to it. I feel like Russell Westbrook is probably the most underrated guard in the league in terms of his ability to make people better. If you look around him, yeah, Russ is a high volume shooter, but if you look at the people, especially big men that he plays alongside with, he's very similar to CP3. I don't think Steven Adams or Serge Ibaka would have been as good as they were without Russell Westbrook, because he attracts 2 and 3 people at a time, which opens up shots for the big men, and it should be opening up more shots for Oklahoma City. But I think that, and I think we're gonna delve into this. The real major problem in OK City is Billy Donovan. It's time for us to realize that Billy Donovan is a military college coach. He's used to dealing with people that don't have an ego because they don't want to lose their scholarship. Mm-hmm. And he needs to get out of the NBA and go back to college where he could win another national championship, because that's where he clearly belongs. And Sam Presti and Oklahoma City need to hurry up and get a real NBA coach in there before they mess around and lose PG-13 in any hopes of ever making it back to the NBA Finals. That's plain and simple.
I just gotta dive right in on it. And Claude, I'm gonna talk to you in a minute, bro. Listen here, I agree with you 100%. I never thought that the person, the right fit for the job was Billy Donovan. I really wanted it to be Mark Jackson, even though I didn't think that. I wanted it to be Mark Jackson, and then Mark Jackson bring in the best offensive coordinator in basketball, and whoever runs the best system or similar to the best system is what they need. You got to run a system that saves Russell Westbrook from himself. I do think when he's seeing the floor correctly and everything is balanced, he can create shots for others. I do believe in that concept. But at the same time, the way this team is constructed, they have too many of the same players. Carmelo has to play with the ball, even though he's capable of playing without the ball. I'm not sure Paul George is as great as off the ball as I thought he was. He settles for too many three-point jump shots for me. I think him being 6'9" and his ability to finish, he needs to be the one on the move. Also, they have to keep Roberson on the floor because of his defensive prowess. And Roberson can't shoot. It's broke. But he's a high IQ player. He knows when to cut. He knows when to dive to the rim. He's always in the right spot on both sides of the floor. The problem with them is they are running an inferior system that does not fit the talent that they have on the roster last year, the year before, and this season as well. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook was able to hide a lot of the deficiencies and coaching wrongdoings on that team because of how their individual greatness was. Those guys are running a terrible basketball system. They are literally coming down and saying, Russell, make a play for me. Now, I don't know if they grew up watching Showtime, but Showtime, Magic Johnson was great because those guys was running, and then he can get you the ball. But in the half court, no subry buddy. Throw it down to the captain. Captain hit the sky hook. Hey, James, you cut. I hit you on the cut. Lay machine. It wasn't all this what you think. Those guys are running an inferior basketball system. What you think about that?
I couldn't agree with you more. Uh, uh, I had this conversation pretty much every week, damn near every day, with my cousins in our personal chat, and we talk about how there's just simply too much ISO ball,
Too
and
much
I can
ISO.
agree. I can agree that for an 8 to 10 game stretch, they got away from the ISO ball, and to be perfectly honest, for the first for quarters 1 through 3.5, it's not a
They
whole
play
lot
well.
of ISO ball going on. For 1 to 3.5, it's not a whole lot of ISO ball. Every now and then, especially when the fatigue sets in, you get a lot of ISO ball. But I think that Billy Donovan's found a niche from getting away with that by putting Russ and Raymond Felton on the court at the same time.
He did find a little loophole in there because that allowed Russell to play off the ball some,
That's
get
right.
Russell to the post up position where he can demand a double team, where Russell is forced to make the right basketball play.
That's right.
What I'm saying.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. When you got to put Russell
with
Westbrook
Raymond Felton's previous chemistry with Carmelo, you can't. They already have a relationship. So Melo never has to worry about getting the ball from Raymond Felton. He trusts Raymond Felton a lot more than I think he trusts anybody else on that team personally.
I'll comment on that right quick, man, because a lot of people don't give Lord Melo. I call him Lord Melo, Melo God, Melo Mushroom, Inside Cello, call him Carmelo. They don't give Melo the true respect that he deserves as a basketball player, simply because he's always been on a team where he had to do more than the superstars that you compare him to had to do on a night in and night out basis. Let's just be clear here. J.R. Smith was with Melo for several years, and J.R. Smith had to be arguably the second or third best player on the roster. So his responsibilities as a player was more.
It was either JR or
LeBron simplified that shit real small. Hey, bro, I throw it to you. You shoot the ball, foul these boys, because I miss me with that two-way player stuff.
Exactly.
Foul these boys, and that's all you got to do. You got two jobs. But with Melo, boy, I need you to be the sixth man of the year. Some nights I need you to get 30. Some nights need you to get 50. Whatever it is, you the second best player on my team. So you got a greener light than you'll get when you play with somebody else. I think what they have to understand is when you're putting together a team that's talented as those players, you need to run a system that highlights the best of each player's ability. And for Melo, it's catch and shoot Melo. Yes, Melo can isolation score. Yes, Melo can work on the block. But the best version of him is Olympic Melo, and Olympic Melo ain't doing nothing but walking in the jump shots. That's all he's doing.
That's absolutely right.
Into standing jump shots. He kind of accepted the role. He kind of accepted the role, and they got into that. They got back into that. But I really think it's on Paul George. Paul George, in my opinion, his stock is plummeting. His job is to get buckets. When Paul George go out there and be an efficient scorer and score the ball and work his matchup and dominate his matchup, they win easily. But for some reason, Paul George think he a three-point champion. He done took top 5 threes in the league. He done shot more threes than Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and he up there right behind Klay Thompson. Why is this guy shooting that many threes? It's not wet like that, dog.
Is he not?
He can shoot the basketball.
Is he not top 10 in makes as well, though?
He should be top 10 in makes if he top 5 in attempts. If he wasn't, then that'd be the real issue. Come on now.
Well, I want to before we move on, before we stray away from because I think we agree on most of the points that we have touched on. I wanted to go back and talk about the coaching decision that I feel like OKC needs to make. I feel
what you think about Mo Cheeks? Mo Cheeks done been on both staffs. Do you think
that Mo Cheeks is a good coach, but I don't think that the players that he has on that roster would be able to relate with him. I think that, and this might be outlandish to some, but I think that David Fizdale, the guy that just got fired from Memphis, I think that he would be an excellent choice because he already understands.
You gotta go a little deeper on that. Talk to me.
He already runs a complex move the ball around offensive system. He's a defensive-minded coach. He's smart enough to hire the coaches around him that can cover up for his own deficiencies because he's
now that's a great point. That's one thing that Courtney says, and I agree with him. Coaches have the authority to hire their staff. You're right.
Yep, and staff. And I think that it would behoove him if he were to be brought in to get a guy like Earl Watson on the squad that can touch with the young boys and make sure that they good. And with both of them being defensive-minded coaches, and both of them and Earl Watson having an offensive, a bit of offensive genius, that would take them to the next level.
I'm with you on that, man. I think, and I seen Courtney post something earlier today, and that's my boy. I love him to death, and he know coaching matters. Sometimes we don't see eye to eye on it, but in that particular post, what he was talking about, and then you mentioned it as well today, coaching matters, man. And at the end of the day, nobody know coaching matters until it matters. Ask the Georgia Bulldogs, and when it had to happen, Nick Saban made it happen. But going forward, I just think the Oklahoma City Thunder, man, as long as they play the way they play offensively, they would never reach the full potential that they could have. I mean, look at what they got. They got weapons. They got young talent. They got what you need, but they run in the wrong system. They got everything you need to get it done. Yep. All the pieces of the puzzle are there.
But they've another thing that you got to touch on is they've slipped down from number 3 to number 6 in defensive efficiency. And I mean, you can attribute some of that to Roberson, but the rest of that has to be attributed to the fact that maybe they're exhausting themselves on the defensive end in their current state, which is also back to coaching.
Well, I think I think one of the things that may be going on with this whole Roberson being out and the deficiency on defense is dropping some, mainly could kind of be to the shot selection that they're taking, and people are getting out and running on them and getting more buckets than they were getting before. I think their half-court defense is still pretty good outside of tonight. They was getting their ass worked tonight. They was getting worked tonight. But if you really look at the box score, if you didn't tune into the game, you're going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder had about 20 turnovers plus. They turned the ball over a lot. You can't give any basketball team 20 extra possessions to score. Let's just be realistic here and say out of those 20, they score 8. That's plus 16. Come on, man. These 16 points that they didn't have to work for.
Yeah, they definitely had. They had 19 turnovers.
We're not talking about the stupid fouls that you're going to give up because you're trying to stop them from getting a wide open layup, things of that nature. The night Timberwolves made over 20 free throws, so they hurt them there. And I also think that Oklahoma City, they need a shooter. They need a true knockdown shooter, a guy that can really shoot the ball. I'm not talking about a scorer that can shoot in Carmelo Anthony and Paul George. I mean, I'm talking about somebody, leave them open if you want to. They need one of those. They need a floor spacer that's going to open up the floor for them. I heard Thibodeau say tonight, one thing you have to do with Russell Westbrook, and we have to make him play in the crowd. And we know Russell, he ain't got no problem going in there. So your job is to bait him to go in. And if you're going in there, hey, he gonna do what he gonna do. He gonna jump real high, and he gonna try to throw the pass. That's what he gonna do.
Well, I mean, if you look back at the box score, like you said, Paul George and Carmelo had an extraordinarily inefficient night, considering their late high levels of efficiency.
They're gonna be inefficient, D. Stanfield, as long as they're playing basketball in a system that doesn't generate points for them. Everything is kind of
5 for 19 or 5 for 14.
Everything is a kitchen. Everything is a catch and shoot. This, that, and the third. It's not though. We're gonna run 2 backdoor picks, and I'm gonna slip this pick backdoor here, layup. Don't get those. They don't get those looks a lot.
That's true, but when you look at Carmelo shooting 5 for 19, 2 for 8 from 3, you look at Paul George shooting 5 for 14, 1 for 4 from 3, and then you take away the production that you had been getting from Terrence Ferguson over the last 3 games. I mean, that's really a recipe for disaster. Terrence Ferguson shot 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 6 from 3. So his only made shot was the 1-3. And then on top of that, you got to think Carmelo's not going to the line as much as he used to. Paul George didn't go to the line but twice tonight. And then on top of that, Raymond Felton only took 5 shots. Raymond Felton only took 5 shots and had 1 assist. That's a recipe for disaster. I don't care how you look at it for this Oklahoma City team and what they're trying to accomplish and the way that they play.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. What they need to do is stay away from the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors into the 3rd round of the Western Conference Finals, and then see them and deal with them at that moment. Because if they catch either one of them teams before it's time to catch them, it's going to be a rude awakening for them.
Yeah, they definitely got to go into the playoffs with some momentum.
Perfectly. Timberwolves match up with them perfectly. Match up with them very well. Very well.
I can agree. If before we move on to another subject, I just gotta ask you one question. If you
hold on before we move on to another subject, y'all know I gotta shout out my boy, and D. Stanford already gave his reports on this guy, but Kevin Durant, 2nd youngest player in the NBA history to score 20,000 points, whatever record LeBron James got, he coming to get him. Let's go, KD. Talk to me, D.
KD ain't gonna never eclipse whatever assist records that LeBron gets before he finishes his career. And
I don't care about them assists. That's LeBron's problem. Pass the ball too much. Get the bucket. That's bucket.
They said the same thing. They said the same thing about Magic, but Magic got chips and LeBron got chips.
Point guard. When it was time to get that money, he got that money. LeBron James ain't never averaged over 10 assists in a season. That passing is cute. He
got that money until MJ gave him that work. So
he's a scorer. LeBron James ain't never gonna fool me. He's a scorer. He'll be I'm gonna go back to a phrase that you said earlier. The best version of LeBron. He'll be the #1 scorer in basketball when he retired.
Let me say, I'm gonna go back to a phrase that you said earlier today. The best version of LeBron is playmaker LeBron.
That's the best version.
He can drop 50 every night, but the best version of LeBron, and I'm taking it to James Harden, just like you said. The best version of James Harden is playmaking James Harden.
You gonna hit me with my own shit, dude.
Hey, you can't present an argument and then not look at it on both sides, man. The best version of LeBron is playmaking LeBron. And one thing that you're gonna say about LeBron that you might not ever say about KD is LeBron is always looking to make the right play.
KD is always looking to make the right play, and he's the right play. Shoot the ball.
The right play for KD is taking a shot. He ain't never seen a shot.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Why am I looking for somebody else to do something and I got the ball?
What's wrong with it is KD is not. He ain't MJ and he ain't Kobe. That nigga not lights out.
Different. He's totally different. He's a shooter that can score. Those guys were scorers that develop into decent shooters and respectable shooters.
I can agree with that, but he a fake tough guy. Mike would have choked KD out about 3 years ago.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm with you. Mike choked a lot of folks out.
That's right. Reggie Miller half court, baby.
He know who to run up on. Mike know who to run up on. He ain't gonna choke Anthony Mason.
If you could, all jokes aside, shout out to KD, youngest to 20,000.
Appreciate the respect.
Much respect to you, man. No disrespect to KD, man. I mean, I don't particularly care for the guy's decision. I don't particularly care for the guy's decisions.
A lot of people don't like the best business decision he ever made in his life thus far.
I don't care for the decision, but I definitely respect KD the person.
You're a business.
Although his Twitter infidelity.
Nah, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That shit was kind of weak, bro. That boy had a fake Twitter and forgot that.
He was looking at his tweet. He was tweeting with his left hand and looking at the joint on his right.
Hey man, I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe it.
I ain't playing for that punk ass coach.
Wait a minute. Hey, and the crazy thing is that's the same coach we talking about tonight.
Same coach we talking about tonight.
True first.
My little brother said this. He said, my little brother said at the beginning of the season, he said, "Yo, man, Oklahoma City gonna miss Scott Brooks." Sure enough, bro.
They only miss Scott Brooks, in my opinion. I think because he was able to relate to them on a player level,
Yep.
But not from the X's and no level. They had great respect for Scott Brooks, but
defensively on the X's and O levels, yeah.
X's and no, he needed an offensive coordinator too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He needed an
But
offensive coordinator.
defensively, they could put the clamps on teams.
Yeah, because they can switch everything. KD allowed them to switch everything.
But you don't really need an offensive coordinator when you got KD. All you need to do is not turn the ball over, which is what their Achilles heel was.
See, nobody knew that KD or Russell Westbrook was real turnover prone until James Harden left. When James Harden stopped handling the ball, like I tried to tell you, now oh my God, KD and Russell, they are turnover machine. But when they had the point guard running the show, shit, we on your head. We on your head. He got the ball.
Those are certified facts.
James Harden turnover numbers was very down when he was getting the ball to KD and Russell Westbrook. Book that.
I mean, historically, James Harden also turns the ball over. Chris Paul hardly ever turns the ball over. But that's another story for another time. I just got one question for you, though. If Oklahoma City had to make one trade without relinquishing the big three, what direction would you go in?
I gotta get something for Roberson, or I gotta get whatever I gotta put together to keep those guys. I need to get a player in Roberson that can hit a shot. That's it. I need a defender that can hit a shot, though. If I can get that, look at KD. Oh, he's so good. Oh, Kevin. But I need a guy that can defend on the perimeter and can hit a shot. If Roberson can hit shots, it's a problem for everybody because the boy can get your best perimeter player and make him work. I'm not sitting here saying he's gonna lock him down, but he can make him work.
I said during the draft that Oklahoma City should have got Kyle Kuzma, but that's neither here nor there. It's already gone.
If the Thunder would have got Kyle Kuzma, Paul George could go right now. If the Thunder would have got Kyle Kuzma, who want Paul George, and then you get what you need from that trade, you get what you need. He go right now.
Well, I just could. Kyle Kuzma and Carmelo, 2'6'8" monsters. Jesus.
That'll be tough. But what else you got, man? We getting long-winded. What else you got for us so we can jump on this Facebook Live and take on the people?
Man, I'm kind of spent right now. I was a little perplexed at the overtime game between Chicago and the Knicks. The Zinger looked like he getting his second win back.
Yeah, man. That's me and Courtney guy. My guy first, Courtney guy second. I think Porzingis is 2 years away from being one of the most unstoppable forces we ever seen. I think in 2 years he's going to be at a point to where his body going to be fully matured to where they can't push him off his spots. And then I also think that he's going to be at a point to where he knows that they can't do nothing with me.
Well, I think that I think Porzingis could be there right now if the coaching was correct, but because you're dealing with Jeff Hornacek.
I think Jeff Hornacek is a good coach, but that's Jerry Sloan. That's Jerry Sloan's disciple.
I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying he's not a good coach for Porzingis.
I don't think he's not a good coach for Porzingis. I think they got Jared Jack at the point guard, and they got to work with what they got to work with. That's what I think. You can't start Frank right now. Frank too young.
No, you can't start Frank, but they should have had Frank to begin with. Like LeBron said, they should have had Dennis.
Hold on, bro. What you're not gonna do is disrespect Frank.
I'm not disrespecting Frank.
Dennis Smith Jr. was my favorite point guard coming out of the draft. Make no mistake about it. But what 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, what Frank Ntilikina is gonna be able to do is whoever your favorite point guard is, he's gonna be able to guard them. And then at the same time, his offense is going to be superior enough to where they can't guard him. That's what you're going to get from him. This is a down the line pick. This ain't now. Dennis Smith Jr. look better right now.
I think you miss, but I think you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Frank is not going to be that guy, because I do think that Frank. Look, Frank can shoot Frank can flat out shoot the rock.
But what he do right now, you can't coach D. Stanfield. The boy top 5 in steals right now as a rookie. He info shit.
and he not even starting. And I get
He
that.
don't even start.
And I get that. But what I'm saying is for what the Knicks are gonna need down the line, and here's where I'm going with that. Porzingis had complaints of being tired, being worn out. And when they pull him out the game, if Beasley ain't had the weed for the night, the Knicks look lost on offense, even with Tim Hardaway Jr. in the lineup. You're not losing that with Dennis Smith. It's no drop off whatsoever. He can get you 11. He can get you 11 points and 10 assists on a given night, and then he can drop 30 or 40. If you look back at those college tapes, and shout out to my man, my cousin Ice. If you look back at them college tapes of what he was doing to Victor Oladipo as he was preparing to go to NC State, and this was after the injury, bro.
You're not hearing what I'm saying, bro. I said Dennis Smith Jr. was my favorite guy, but I think Dennis Smith Jr. went to a good situation. I don't think New York was the best situation for him. He's going to be a part of this resurgence of Dallas if they resurge. New York is Porzingis town.
I don't think that Rick Carlisle. Well, let me not disrespect the great Rick Carlisle. To me, he's one of the best coaches in the game right now. So let me not even go there with that.
I won't put great on his name either.
No, I can't do that. What I will say is that I think that in the system that Jeff Hornacek runs, I think Dennis Smith Jr. would be dropping 30 a night, at least 22 a night, given. Regardless of what goes on, regardless of Beasley being on the floor, regardless of Porzingis being on the floor, and I think that they would still have the same type of output in terms of wins and losses. But the difference is,
I would have to just respectfully disagree.
Right.
LeBron, I'm not listening to anything LeBron say about building a roster because he don't know what he's doing. So whatever he talking about, no, this is the same guy who wanted Shabazz Napier and didn't even get Shabazz Napier. That had several opportunities to get Shabazz Napier with him in Cleveland, and we ain't seen him there. He didn't really think too high of that guy. What he saw was a guy who been in college 4 years going up against the Harrison twins and lighting their ass up when he really should have been looking at Boatwright cooking them boys. That's what he should have been looking at.
To that point, though, this year Shabazz Napier is Shabazz Napier. This year he's been killing. In Dame Lillard's absence.
So why he ain't playing with LeBron? LeBron could have got him for nothing. I'm trying to tell you, don't fall for that cocoa, bro. I'm coming, Ray.
I'm not following up on that, man.
No, you can't follow up on that. But listen, man, this is the first of many of me and D Stanfield hopping in the booth, doing what we do and do it well. Do damage, signing off. Join us on Facebook Live where we really get it going.
Roll Tide.
I should have hit the button before he said that, man.